welcome to our winners match of the Group B of GSTL. I am Wolf, with me is Kaldor, and here are our winners teams. LGIM actually getting a win over the disbanded OGS, so basically securing a free win. How are you doing today, Kaldor?
Pretty good. Looking forward to the Symbol show.
Yeah.
We had them yesterday already, and he kind of saved the day for his team. TSL was, well, down for the count when Symbol stepped into the booth, and suddenly he changed everything. Moon was able to take the lead for Fnatic with a 3-1, and then suddenly Symbol just turned the tides of the battle.
Yeah, he absolutely did. Looked very strong for his team yesterday. We talked about this a lot yesterday. TSL is a team full of Zergs. They have a lot of good experience in ZVZ, but even so, Moon was able to tackle several of those players, take them out, but in the end, Symbol was too much even for Alive in the closing match.
Yeah, exactly. Today it's going to be a little bit different though, because TSL is facing Incredible Miracle and they have an incredible lineup. But on the other hand, one has to say that today they will not be able to rely on MC. There's the partnership with SK Gaming and obviously Incredible Miracle. But as MC is already in the US, he can't play today.
Yeah, he is going to be attending MLG's Spring Championship at Anaheim, so he's just staying in the United States to save himself a little bit of travel since he's not playing in Codes this week, so he won't be able to participate. We have the similar situation for Stefano, who's playing in some European qualifier tournaments right now, is not in Korea just yet, so he will not be participating with TSL today.
Yep. And we'll have a quick look at the team infos before we start with our opening players. The first map today is, by the way, Atlantis Spaceship. And here are our teams.
Yep, here they are indeed. You can see that both teams have a similar win rate. I am very reluctant to use their star players in the team. Like, their coach has said several times in interviews, he really prefers to show their B-teamers their rising stars, and I respect that. But, you know, sometimes people have to wonder, where is Nestea, where is MVP? In these team leagues, sometimes they just don't come out.
The champion might come out today. The captain for the LGIM team is Nestea, while Millennium is being led by Polt. And the race distribution is kind of much better for Incredible Miracle if you think about it. Obviously,
absolutely.
TSL is very, very Zerg-based. They have a good Protoss and also a good Terran player, but still, for Incredible Miracle, it's going to be a lot easier choosing a player in order to snipe one of them.
You know, IM has so many unknown players right now. So does TSL with, for example, Revival hasn't played in a while.
Ragnarok.
You know, Ragnarok as well is kind of an unknown. But IM, you could say the same about them. They have players like Horror. You know, we've seen him a lot, but it's been a while. Younghwa, it's been a while. You know, we have players like Seed, who has been like only a team league player until recently. Now he's in the individual league. They've got so much depth in their lineup. I am Yoda. Where has he been? Has he been improving a lot? Where has he been? Nobody knows. I am ready. Just recently qualified, or I am first rather, just recently qualified for Code. There's so many silly I am names, I don't know. Formerly Pippi Jung, okay, that's who I'm talking about, a strong Protoss player. Where have these guys been? Let's find out like how much they've improved while they've been training with some of the best players in the world on this team.
Yeah, we'll probably see them today, at least a few of them. As Wolf already stated, the IM coach kind of prefers to have the B-teamers start into the team match and only bring out the big guns as soon as they are needed. And we'll find out if TSL is able to force them out today. If we will see Nestea and MVP, this is definitely something that I'm really curious to see. And I'm kind of curious to know who's our opening players today, because so far we have no idea.
Yeah, usually IM starts things out with someone like I am pretty good, and then later on, these kind of transition to I am someone you've probably heard of. But then later on, it's I am Nestea, I am MVP coming out at the end.
I am a GSL champion.
Yeah, exactly. Here is the IM team coming out, recently getting their big-time sponsorship with LG. And that team looks so sick. Just look at them. You can recognize a lot of the faces in there. Nestea, of course, MVP. Some of the most recognizable faces of all. Lucira recently changing his hair back to a more normal style. A very top-notch player, though, for IM.
It's going to be very interesting to see how they are doing today. A lot of people think that they are the favorite team here, and TSL, on the other hand, they have all these players that kind of come through for the team when they're needed. But let's have a quick look at the roster for the IM team.
Let's take a look. Indeed, you can see that front row. Nestea, the coach, Seed, and Happy. Look at how strong those players look. MVP leading the charge up there at the top of the bench. They got their Powerade bottles up there. They are ready to go. Some of those Powerade bottles have had a little bit drank out of them. They've been replenishing their electrolytes, I guess, a little bit.
And here's the roster now for LGIM. We're starting off with our Zerg players. It is Nestie, Lushira, True. Really strong players here. Code S, Code A, and Code B.
Yep, and then we have MVP, Happy, and Yoda leading the charge for Terrans. And then last but not least, our Protosses, Seed, Younghwa, and of course SKMC.
Not here today though.
Yep. Look at those guys, man. Their lineup seems to have thinned out a little bit for the GSTL. No mention of players like Horror, for example, in their lineup. Just sticking with True as their third Zerg. And you can see some really familiar faces up there. Oh man. MVP, he looks disinterested right now. He's like, I know I'm not coming out today, they don't need me.
Doesn't he always kind of look a little bit, I don't want to say annoyed, but a little bit disinterested? Like, every single time I see him on the bench, he's like, yeah, we'll see. If I have to play, I'll play.
He's like, I could be training right now. All right, well, here comes the TSL team. We saw them inch out a win yesterday using Symbol very well. The TSL coach leading the charge. Look at this lineup of Zergs.
Yeah, it was a very, very close win yesterday, and the TSL coach, he was so nervous. I talked to him during one of the breaks, and he apparently just had a smoke. I don't know, the guy who smelled up of cigarettes, he must have smoked at least 10 of them.
Well, Polt is the team captain.
He didn't have to play yesterday.
Nope, he did not come out. Everyone was prepared for him to come out last, but he just did not have to seal the deal.
Yeah, they sent in Symbol, and Symbol was all they needed yesterday.
They attempted to use a lot of their other players. For example, Hyun came out as well. Was not able to perform, but in the end, Symbol, like you said, like we've stressed this so much, but he was really the MVP by far yesterday.
The thing is that nobody was really prepared for Moon. They were talking about players like Alive, they talked about Oz, they talked about all these very known players, and of course everyone knows Moon, but nobody really knew that he was this good at this point, so they didn't really prepare for Moon, and this kind of screwed everything up for them.
Yeah, you're so right.
Lineup.
Now you notice there are two Terrans, a little bit unknown, Punisher and Center. And then lastly our Zergs, Ragnarok, Hyun, Symbol, and some additional players, of course, Revival, Shine, Inori, and Value. There they are, the team again. Look at how well they look like they're about ready for a picture, you know what I mean? Like it's
Look
like
at Coach Lee. Look at Coach Lee, he's already tensed up, he's always sitting there and his heart is beating, he's like, ah. It's gonna be so exciting.
It is, man.
I know, but I'm worried about him. I'm really worried about him.
I love how their team, like their team more than any other team, I feel like looks like they're ready for a team photo. Every time I see them sitting on that bench, like they're just like all their heights are lined up and everything. Like it just seems like I would take a photo of them right now. That's what I would do. All right, well, we're gonna find out who our first players are. The first map, as you mentioned, is going to be Atlantis Spaceship. And our starting player is Losira for the team LGIM. Starting out here, going back to, like I said, his older haircut. He's not rocking the big red dye. Played decently in MLG Spring Arena #2. And currently a Code A player, requalified this season as well. He's got a lot to prove, though.
2 all kills in his GSTL history. Quite the impressive record.
Yeah, look at that. If he comes out first, he's got an 83.3% chance of victory. That's pretty high, I have to say.
That's decent, yeah. I could live with that.
Yeah. He does not come out last. He saves that for his other teammates. Let's find out who TSL's starting player is going to be today, though. Really curious to see if they're going to start out with one of their newer players or if kind of it's going to be like an old school guy. Could we see like Center, for example, a Terran coming out first?
Yesterday we had a Zerg versus Zerg as Shine was playing. Who is it going to be today?
Yep, we have seen a lot of ZVZ openers, in fact, in the Team League these days.
Well, with TSL starting here, you can already assume that we are going to see another Zerg versus Zerg. TSL,
yeah, it's pretty good chances.
Huge Zerg lineup.
Losira looking pretty ready. All right, the time has come. Find out who our TSL player will be. Oh, it's Revival. Revival starting out here. We have not seen this guy in a long time. One of the best Zergs on the team. Coach Lee has a lot of faith in this guy. You know, I said this yesterday. He said that Hyun, he felt, had potentially the most opportunities to be a strong player, but he felt like Revival right now is the strongest Zerg on his team, and, well, he's going to start here.
And Revival did not play yesterday. We haven't seen him yet. And same goes for the IM team. They were not able to watch his matches because you can bet, guys, that they were watching yesterday's streams. They were having a good look at the lineup.
In the chat for the lobby, our Korean observers actually even saying in chat, like, it's been a long time since we've seen you, Revival. Where have you been? And I remember the most notable performance Revival ever had was in the GSL Super Tournament. That was the furthest he ever got, I believe making it all the way to the round of 8, up there with players like Alicia, the only Protoss in that tournament. That's always kind of been like a big tournament for me. Like, it's the most unusual tournament GSL has had, likely, but a lot of different things happen in that tournament. It's cool to remember that one. Good tournament for TSL. Oh, ZVZ is our starting map, or our map is Spaceship. Yeah. ZVZ on this map, though, is going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, we saw a crazy game yesterday with Mune against Hyun, where we had those Mutalisk fights, and Mutalisks are definitely a very good option for Atlantis Spaceship. The map is huge, and we'll see what exactly Loshira and Revival are up to. The map is loading right now, and we are starting into today's GSTL match between LGIM and TSL. It is on, ladies and gentlemen. LGIM versus TSL. To the top right, we have currently our Zerg player in the red starting for LGIM. It is none other than
LGIM Loshira.
Very strong Zerg, man.
Yeah, a lot of fans in the audience here.
Yeah, a ton of them, in fact. And he just reminds me so much of Flash when I see him in the booth with how quick he is and how he kind of twitches a little bit. Like, he's ready. He's like so focused.
He's up against a fellow Zerg player. He's up against the starting player for TSL. This is in the blue.
TSL Revival.
Revival playing a lot of online tournaments lately. He was focusing on tournaments that were held in North America and in Europe. So, play pretty decent. Actually, the entire TSL team, they are playing in so many different tournaments. Obviously, Pole is the one that kind of stands out because he wins so many of them. But also Hyun and Revival, Symbol sometimes as well. All of them, they participate in so many online cups. It's really crazy.
Yeah, they really do. It's something that Coach Lee really values. He thinks that tournament experience is something that everyone should have, even if it is online.
It's also exposure. It's exposure for the players when they play in those a little bit smaller tournaments in Europe and in NA. They are always shoutcasts, and it kind of makes sure that everyone knows who Revival is, who Hyun is, and that helps a lot.
It really does, absolutely. We see a faster hatchery coming down for Lucero right now versus the much faster pool timing for Revival. He will have his gas up first as well, as you can see there on the screen. He has started it first, so he will have Zergling speed far ahead of his opponent, but not too far. As you see, the extractor is already now going down for Lucera. The few extra seconds he gets with Zergling speed may allow him to scout the main base, but if Lucera is actually on top of his defense, he probably will be able to deny the scout.
We've seen this yesterday by Symbol. I was actually really impressed how he played his ZVZs. He made sure that his opponent was not able to sneak any units into the main base. There were always two queens blocking the ramp. This is so important. Also how he used his overseers to make sure that no burrowed infestors could harass his economy line. I was really impressed by his positioning. And just in the recent past, we've seen a lot of ZVZs where the Zerg player, one of them kind of neglects to block his ramp, and then suddenly he has to face Zerglings in his main base. Zerglings at the natural, and this can be really annoying. So props to Symbol, and well, Revival here playing in the same team. I assume that he's probably playing very, very similar.
Yeah, I think that's probably something that they've probably talked to each other about quite a lot. I mean, denying the Zerglings into the main changes this matchup so much because it's so difficult to scout, and that's basically the only way you have to scout. Once the queens can deny the overlords, it's too much of a risk, too much of a liability to put those overlords into the main base to try to scout. You can send an overseer in later, but trying to see the drone count, for example, how much gas has been mined early, that's really important. faster Baneling Nest going up here for Revival.
We had him with the early gas, so it makes sense that he's going to be the one who tries to put up some pressure. And we'll see how exactly the LGIM player is going to deal with it. As a fun fact, Luzira played his last Zerg vs. Zerg in the KSL in the last season, and he lost. He lost to Anyong.
Yep, and another fun fact, I mentioned this yesterday, Revival is the only player from the original TSL team to still remain on the team. So that's something to note.
It's always so cool if you have a player that sticks with this team for ages, that doesn't change teams. And when I think about it, the one player that always comes to my mind is Hazops. He has been in mouse sports for years, for an eternity. I think since he was actually 15.
Wow. That's longer than I
was a manager for mouse sports when he was 16 and when we went to the first event, so he must have joined like when he was 15 years old.
Wow.
That was ages ago.
Yeah, there's a lot of players like that out there. Not as many these days, I feel, with more players changing teams. It's a very changing scene right now, but it's always cool to see some loyalty in the players. Neutral Depot gets taken out here. Both players getting that spine collar at the front, the oh-so-important spine. Defensive Baneling going down here, and right now both players are actually droning quite heavily. We don't really have too much pressure coming out for either one of them, and I mean the Zergling speed's done for both. A fast third hatchery coming down for Revival though, he's kind of pushing that out there, and 14 Zerglings coming out for Lucera. Looks like he wants to at least put some pressure on, or he's a little bit worried.
He could be a little bit worried here, and as you can see, TSL Revival is immediately preparing here. He's already building a few buildings at the front in order to prepare a wall in, so that if there's going to be some pressure, he can defend against it quite easily. With how the Overlords are positioned on the map, each player will know immediately when his opponent is moving out with some units, and this is happening right as we speak. Lushira is now trying to put on the pressure with his Lings, but there are already Banelings morphing for Revival.
Yep,
he will be able to hold this.
He will be able to hold this, no problem. But a Zergling gets in the main.
And he does not block the ramp, nor does he block the front.
He's going to lose his queen in the main base for sure, but that may not be all he loses. Oh my god, is he going to save it?
Oh,
one hit point left on that queen, he saves it. And one Baneling kills 3. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm really not sure how that happened, but this third base is going to be under attack now, and he will ward these off. A very nice hold by Revival, who now has a third base up a little bit faster, and he's already got Lair Tech on the way and a faster Roach Warren, so he's basically ahead in every way, even with a faster +1. Lucira desperately trying to make more Zerglings to attack this third base because he knows if he just sits back and macros now, he's going to be behind.
Revival plays this very, very well. He is currently in the lead when regarding his harvests, just by a small margin, but it helps, and obviously, as you pointed out, the tech is also in his favor. He's already getting the Infestation Pit, whereas Lair is not even done for Lushira. So this is going to be really, really tricky for the LGIM player, especially since Revival has this third base already.
Yeah. You know, he's got the third base. He's been mining from there faster. He's already got his gas going up there. Infestation Pit, as you mentioned, coming up way faster, but also his Roach speed. His Roach speed and his +1. Everything for him is ahead. And in ZQZ, that's basically all that matters, is all your upgrades being ahead and you having a better army supply than your opponent. The Roach count right now, you know, basically, he only has 4 Roaches out, but that's 4 more than his opponent has, and he's already building towards that count. He's going to be able to defend against the Zergling harassment very easily. No problems here.
It's going to be interesting to see what exactly Revival wants to do. If he just wants to hit a timing with his Roaches here, he could also just go now for the Infestors. He could additional take on 3 bases. He's in a very comfortable position, and he just produced another 12 drones. He's really, really trying to saturate these bases.
Yeah, you're right. And look at that. Look at the Infestation Pit timing for Lucera. It's way behind. He's just now starting it. His opponent's pathogen glands are already on their way. So the question is, will there be a 4th base taken from Lucera, or is he just going to build his Roach count, go up to max here, and then take a 4th while he attacks?
He's going for double upgrades,
the scout.
Double upgrades really important here. That could come into play later on if Revival does not choose to build another evolution gem on his own.
And the question is, did Revival see those? He, in fact, did not see the second evolution chamber, so he doesn't know.
Yeah, he just knows about one of them. And we currently have the first 7 Infestors being built for Revival.
Yeah, that's...
Is he going to attack with them? What is he going to do?
It seems likely. It seems like, yeah, 13 Roaches now on the way with the 7 Infestors. He knows he's likely going to have the upgrade advantage. And he may go for it. Oh, these Zerlings may get the queen now. They actually will get it this time.
They
that's
really
hurt the timing.
hate this queen, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. That's going to hurt the timing so much.
There are a few burrowed Zerglings, and he just spotted all these infestors as well. 2 burrowed Zerglings, that's not a ton, but still, they could pick off a drone or 2.
Well, let's find out how much he really wants to commit to this attack now that he's lost his queen. Looks like he still wants to go. He no longer will have the upgrade advantage. In fact, Losira is starting +2 first. It looks like Revival has no intention of playing this game any longer. He will just try to end it right away.
What is really dangerous on this maps are run-bys. There are so many ways where you can approach your opponent's main base, so you have to be very, very careful. The first infestors are now being built for Losira, but will it be enough as Revival walks across the map and targets the 3rd?
We'll find out, man. There's so many infestors. 7 in this mix. As you mentioned earlier, he's got the upgrades. He's about to have +1. Carapace is going to have an upgrade advantage. Talking about Losira, the fungals do go down, though, and the roach count difference is 39 to 19 right now. He's got a 20 roach lead. I'm not sure if LGIM can hold this.
This doesn't bode well for Losira. Here comes Revival. He's moving in. The reinforcements are streaming towards the top right, and all these infestors with the energy for fungals even pulls the drones now. Desperate to defend against his opponent's army, but this is going to be very tricky. No energy on the infestors. They need to use, well, they can't use fungals. They have to use the infestor Terrans.
Yep. You remember he does have the upgrade advantage. Losira does defensively here at 1-1 versus just +1. And it looks like even though he does, his roach count's just barely not enough. Not yet. He needs a few more roaches, but the reinforcements are streaming across the map so quickly for Revival. Will he be able to hold? He's got the better concave now. His drones, though, are forced to be pulled. It looks like he may hold.
Very, very close battle here, and the drones, they certainly help a lot, but still Losira is down 20 supply at this point. But the roach numbers are in his favor, at least at the battle at the top right. Revival is already taking a 4th base as we speak. He's getting additional upgrades, but Losira, he holds.
Yeah, he holds
at least for now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, he got the 4th base going, but his upgrades are still going. He's now going to have +2-1 versus 1-0 until that +1 Carapace finishes, and even then, when it finishes, he has that upgrade advantage still. Now he's got a good defensive position here. The only thing he's lacking is that 4th base.
And it's going to be really interesting what's going to happen as soon as the minerals in the main base run out. This is exactly when the 4th base will kick in with the drone counts as they are, but we have another fight in the middle of the map, and currently the roach count is dead even, both of them with 33. This is getting intense, guys, and Losira is moving forward with his upgraded advantage that he has, but will he be able to break through?
It looks like he will, man. He's killing a lot of these roaches, and he's got reinforcements at a much faster rate since he's so close to his main base. More infested Terrans dropping down, and Losira will actually, in fact, break through here, it looks like. Chasing down the infestors now, targeting them. Only gets a few, and that may have been an overextension by him. This is such a close battle.
Dropped in supply like crazy, but was able to stabilize. Still has the lead in overall supply. Both of them just kind of relying on their mechanics here, using as many injects as possible, getting those lava to build additional roaches. It's just the roach battle that we are seeing right now. The infestors are at this point out of the question. They don't have enough energy. That's the biggest problem. They can use a few infested Terran, but that's all there's to it. The roaches, roach against roach.
A few seconds.
And this is insane.
A few seconds, Losira will have some fungals available. He has them now, and here we go. He drops them, and I think this may be what he needs to win this fight. He still has the upgrade advantage, but his infestors are being targeted. Yeah, the roach numbers are so much better for Revival right now. He's just hitting his injects better, and he has that 4th hatchery. He's not mining from it, but that's extra production for him.
Currently, we have 4 against 3 bases, and Revival will saturate the 4th very soon. Another infestor goes down. Losira has to be careful here. He's trying to force the engagement. He doesn't want to retreat anymore, and he is building a ton of roaches, but is it going to be enough, as Revival has a huge amount of them? Currently 24 to 33 in favor of the TSL player.
Revival is just hitting his injects better. He has that extra hatchery, but he just consistently has so much more larva than his opponent. He is always fighting an uphill battle with the upgrade disadvantage, but he's still able to trade evenly or win these fights. It's actually incredible to see. I'm actually just amazed at how well he's been able to rally these units across.
Resources lost, guys. 15,450 against 15,100. Units lost 192 against 194.
Yeah.
this basically already tells the tale.
It does,
This game is so close.
And look at this. This is one way that Lucira may be able to get himself back into this. Running in here with a group of 5 roaches, targeting down drones. Yeah, all of his roaches are going to go down, but he's killing almost every single one of these drones in the process.
We've seen Moon Dude yesterday take down 17 drones of his opponent, nearly coming back in the game against Symbol. But right now, Revival is up with 200 supply against 187.
Yeah, the thing is, he still has not started +2 for his roaches. He hasn't even started it. He has no intention of getting it by the looks of things. I mean, he just continued to barrel across the map with his roach count. He has 58 to 48.
Exactly.
Oh, there are so many fungals ready for him this time, though, and he has no infestors in this group. He's just going to fight this with pure roach. Will he be able to break through? We're about to find out. Fungal's going down already, just one. There's the second.
He snipes the infestor immediately, takes down another one, and the third as well. Here comes Revival with all that he has. He uses a few funnels himself, and now suddenly Lushira is hard-pressed. The roach numbers, they look in favor of Revival. Lushira has the better concave here. Will he be able to hold again? This is going to be so hard, both at the same amount of supply and roaches as well.
Yeah, the roach count's basically dead even here. The drone count plummeting a little bit for Lucira as he's forced to use these drones to defend, but with his upgrade advantage, it looks like he will push it back, and he will chase these roaches down and kill them.
He forces Revival back, and now Lucira is ahead in supply. The drone count is in favor of the TSL, of the LGIM player as well. This is going to get really, really tricky for Revival.
He's going for another counterattack with another group of roaches. He's going to kill a queen. He may be able to kill a second queen in the main base. Unburrows those 2 Zerglings from earlier. They help out, takes out a queen, and with those 2 queens being taken out, that's going to limit the production of his opponent quite heavily. Now Lucira has that same 4th base up, and he's actually going to be mining from it, whereas he's killed with those same roaches the 4th base of Revival. Revival kind of falling down a slippery slope here. He still does not have +2 on the way. And +2 Carapace is his choice here. It looks like he's not going to get +2 weapons. That's an interesting one.
This is really, really tricky here for Revival. He has to be careful as Lucira now takes not only the lead in upgrades, but also in overall supply, and attacks the 3rd and takes it down.
Yep, and man, oh man, Lucira just now showing his great multitasking, attacking from so many different angles, and Revival, after he lost that big roach force, he had no answer for these. He's lost now 2 hatcheries. His worker count is below. It's at 61 to 48. He still has a lot of larvae, but he's behind in upgrades. He's about to have +2 Carapace, has not started any additional upgrades, just been using that 1 evolution chamber. And yeah, Lucira hasn't won this game 100%, but it's looking like it's going to be so hard for Revival to actually push his way back into this game with the position he's in right now.
He's in a horrible position. He's down on 2 bases. He kind of lost everything here. He's up against 200 supply with only 135. The roach count is currently obviously in favor of Lucira, 52 to 32. He has a ton of investors, and he's using them as the next battle starts, and this might be the last stand for Revival as Lucira is using fungal after fungal, pressing through here and obliterating everything.
Yep, he is taking out the infestors as well. He has his Overseer in position. None of them can escape. He's got 1 more fungal, but Lucira does not care. Takes out the final infestors, even the one with full energy. GG! LGIM takes the lead. Lucira playing a very strong defensive game, holding on, getting his upgrade advantage going, and taking the lead as a result. Revival played a good game. He was very aggressive. He hit his larva injects perfectly, but it was not enough in the end.
Really, really intense game. In the middle of the game, both of them exactly the same amount of resources and also units lost. It was kind of crazy here. And it is Lucira with 2 amazing holds who is finally able to push back, and just look at him. He's like, whoa, that was a close one.
There's something I love about Lucira, man, and it didn't start, I think, until he had to play against an ST in the ZVZ finals, where I saw him play there, and I was like, I don't know, I just really like this guy. Something about him, man. I can't even describe it, but
he's a very cheery person.
Yeah, he is. I actually sat next to him on a plane going to MLG and talked to him quite a bit. He's really friendly, very smart, and obviously it all showed in that game. I guess maybe not the friendliness part didn't really show through, but his defensiveness, his strategic double evolution chamber, all of that powered through on a big map like this, you can take little risks like that.
Talking about maps, we have the next map already on our screen, and it is going to be Entombed Valley. We might see Inori again.
Yeah, we saw Inori yesterday try to take out Moon. He was not successful. The game played out a little bit strangely. There were some little decisions that Inori made that kind of hurt him in the mid game, but his late game was crazy. He had basically every disadvantage in the world, but he still managed to stay alive and repeatedly take a 4th base against Moon's crazy Mutalist count and multitasking. So I think if Lucira doesn't play as well as Moon played yesterday, if they pick Inori here, he could definitely take this game.
Inori played on Cloud Kingdom though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we had this game on Cloud Kingdom, and on Entombed Valley we saw Night End.
Yeah, it was the starting map was Entombed Valley yesterday.
Exactly. We had yesterday Entombed Valley as the starting map, and also with the Zerg versus Protoss. And right now there's a pretty high chance that we are going to see a Protoss player for TSL.
Yeah, I would be amazed if we didn't see Inori, but we may see this new guy, Value. The question is he... I said this yesterday, I actually should have looked it up. I don't know if he's the same player as Serrano, but someone will confirm that for me or deny it, because I want to know that... we don't know. It could be anyone. We have seen sometimes a player pick a Zerg, for example, on this map because they want to get rid of the map ZVZ here, and then, oh, when I use my Zergs later, because I have a very Zerg-heavy team, you can't use a Protoss against me like Younghwa, or, you know, like some of the other players like Seed, a very good Protoss as well. So I don't think that's what we're going to see, because either way they could also eliminate this map with a Protoss and accomplish the same thing, but we could see a ZVZ here.
And if you just tuned in, one quick heads up, MC is not going to play for LGIM today. He is already in the US.
Yep.
Attending MLG. And here's the TSL
Inori going to come out again. I have a feeling he will.
It looks like
and he is. There he is. Getting up. Walking over.
It is TSL's Inori. We have a Zerg versus Protoss on Entombed Valley. We've seen epic CVPs on this map.
Yeah, we have. And we may see yet another one today. Again, I cannot stress how many advantages Moon had against Inori yesterday, and how well he still managed to play. It was crazy.
Yeah, Inori played really, really strong. And this is a very good map for him.
I like this. I mean, you get rid of this map early, you play a good matchup on it, they can't use it against you because they have Protosses, and this is basically your only Protoss that you plan on using. Get rid of this map. The rest of the players are going to play are probably going to be Zergs, or they're going to be Pult.
Get rid of Entomb, get rid of Antigua, get rid of all these maps where your Zerg players can get sniped with a high probability. So we'll see how this is going to turn out. After a 5-minute break, we will be back with Lucira against Inori here at the GSTL with Incredible Miracle against TSL.